able to walk around and coach and roll.
I don't have a headset.
Hold on. Are we live?
All right, we're joined by Coach Amy Mallon. We'll start with the opening statement from Coach, and then we'll open it up for questions.
So obviously not a great shooting night for the Dragons. So obviously a big part of us not being successful. But, UC Irvine, a good team, obviously came in and really just took care of what they need to do on their end. Well coached, pretty disciplined in what they were doing. And I felt like for us, we had a couple shots. They weren't falling for us, so really in the end, I think affected the outcome of the game. But again, impressive team, UC Irvine, and I think it's going to be a great game for us to learn from and build on as we head into Saturday's game.
Hey, Coach. Their full court press, they started it early in the first quarter, caused some problems, and it just seemed like it continued to cause some issues throughout the game. What do you guys try and do to adjust against that and try and get some open looks and avoid some of those turnovers there?
Yeah, I think the one thing with this group, and as much as we've only played 2 games, so it's still trying to find that way to connect. As a team that showed different types of full court pressure. We haven't technically really seen this year, so really good for us to learn from. But I think it's also attacking it and not waiting for one person to do it. And I think when teams play zone, they're causing you to think a little bit. And I think we did that in some cases, especially in the first half. We really set ourselves back. With the turnovers we had, we turn the ball over not very often. We value possessions. So the turnovers that we had, I think, were really a result of us thinking too much and not just being aggressive, breaking the pressure. And hopefully that's a learning point for us moving forward.
Yeah, and obviously, like you said, not a great shooting night. Even some open looks didn't go down, but even sometimes it seemed like shots were being rushed, whether it was in the paint or inside the arc or outside the arc. What did you see on the offensive end in terms of the patience on offense at times?
Yeah, I think you saw, Lane McGirt obviously didn't shoot well tonight, but we got a lot of nice looks with her slipping into the middle. We got some nice looks, in the offense, but I think then you miss a couple, and it's really hard sometimes to bounce back out of those when you're getting some really good looks. And the thing about a zone, it really keeps you from getting the ball to the people you want to. You got to think and really move the ball and really look for the open shot. So, obviously Maris Baker scoring for us, we try to put her in a position where she's going to get the ball, but you really don't have control over that a lot. So I think you definitely saw that in that. And then just the shooting percentage overall, I think some rush. So I definitely think some of a result of being rushed shots, but at the other times we had some really nice looks that we just didn't knock down.
Hello, Coach Amy. After observing your players' performance, could you share your strategy for dominating the court, specifically what steps could be taken to secure and maintain a lead in points moving forward?
Could you just repeat that again? I'm sorry, I missed part of that.
After observing your players' performance, what could you share your strategy for dominating the court, and specifically what steps could be taken to secure and maintain a lead in points next game?
Yeah, I think the big thing is just obviously the first thing, taking care of the ball. We had 18 turnovers. That's not really something you see a lot with Drexel teams. So we have to make sure we value the possessions and we get a look each possession. So that would be the number one thing. And then just, in this case too, for us, getting good looks on top of that. So when we're taking shots, we're not taking rush shots are gonna you're gonna see less of a percentage of them going in. So continuing to learn that. And I think with this group, they're just gonna keep getting better as they play together. And as much as we say we've played 2 games, but we have 6 newcomers and a lot of new people on the floor. And I think this is another type of game where we saw something we haven't seen yet as a group. So hopefully we learn how to connect on this and figure out in those cases when we are able to take a lead, how we continue to build on it, and when we don't, how we're going to respond and come back and get ourselves in position to win a game.
Irvine, you mentioned a very tough team, Big West champion last year, and this is a pretty tough stretch coming up, starting with Temple on Saturday, Penn State, and then you've got the Big 5 Classic at some point, which looks like it'll be St. Joe's or Nova. What do you do to learn from this game on a fairly quick turnaround with Temple and then another quick turnaround with Penn State next week?
I think there's some things you look at, like our rebounding or offensive rebounding. Now, obviously, we missed some shots, but I think we gave ourselves some opportunities, second chance opportunities. So I think we take some of the positives. We did at times handle the pressure well, and then the other times we didn't. So I think for us, the quick turnaround it's something I think this team is going. I think their approach, especially with their leadership, is they're going to learn from it, and we're going to get better. And they're going to show up tomorrow. That's what they always do. They show up, they work hard, and they'll continue to figure out the things we need to get better at and work at. And we say it every day. We check something off the list, and I think they'll definitely use us as a learning tool moving forward. But we have some big games coming up. So Temple, we know what that means. It's our second Big Five game. It's at Temple. It's away. They're a team that's really going to show us some of the same things. So we have to learn from this and be ready.
So the layup performance and final execution were amongst the most prevalent issues that I saw and contributed to the deficit. So considering this, what strategies could you implement to turn this weakness into a strength?
I think for us, just continuing to know that we're going to get those looks. I think we got some really nice looks. We got some nice looks around the basket. So I think we have to be ready for them, and we have to finish them. So we have to know when we step in there and we execute plays and we had some nice looks, we have to be calm, strong with the ball, and just be ready to take the next shot and watch it drop. And if we miss it, just recover from that and just know we're going to be able to get that again. Hi, how are you? Good, how are you?
We do. One question.
Hey, Amy, how are you?
Hi.
Rob Knox here. Didn't necessarily want to ask anything about tonight's game. Can you just take me through your last game against LaSalle and just the vibe of the reality of actually playing a game that counted as a Big 5-0 game for you all?
Obviously our last game here versus LaSalle, our first Big 5 game, just an exciting moment, not just for my team, but for our program, in the history of our program. So I think that was just a great way for us to, start off in the Big 5, to win that game and make a little history as the first team to get the first win for us. And, and leading into tonight, we knew UC Irvine was going to be a great game for us to play. I mean, they're a championship team from last year, and they have some returnees that have really been successful for them. The Big West Player of the Year back, so a great challenge, and I think that was definitely an opportunity for us to grow with how we played tonight. So I'm hoping that we do moving forward.
One quick.
With that, what did it mean to play an opponent like UC Irvine, a quality matchup that sometimes may be lost on the national radar, but this was a matchup between two teams that competed in the 224 tournament?
I think it's really important because I think you need to challenge your teams and play teams that you're going to be able to compete with. I mean, they're a team, another school, very similar to us, I think, in what they've been able to do and accomplish in their league. And I think for us to compete with another team like that, it's the best thing we could have in the non-conference for us, because those are the type of games you want to play that are going to prepare you for conference. So obviously we would rather be on the winning side of it, but we're definitely going to learn and be able to use this moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Just
you.
so you have it in your notes, Marist Baker, 15 straight